Hi everyone, it's Sue Plumb here to share another scrapbook process video with you. Today I am sharing a mixed media 12 by 12 layout, and I created this one for Cocoa Vanilla Studio using the No Limits collection that I have been working with lately. Now if you saw my channel last week, you would have saw that I shared a process video for a pocket page using this collection, and I shared some tips for scrapping sports photos. So if you have a sporty kid, you know, footy, soccer, gymnastics, swimming, whatever, I shared a few little tips for documenting some of those sports photos that you might have piled up. Well, the layout that I am sharing today is actually the 12 by 12 layout that I created to go alongside that pocket page in my album. So again, it features a photo of my son in his soccer gear with his soccer ball, and I'm going to show you a few tips for creating a mixed media page with very little mess. So if you are interested in mixed media and getting started in mixed media, but you might not know where to start, or you don't like getting very messy, then this is the page for you. So you can see that I have started with a sheet of pattern paper there. Now that sheet of pattern paper is called Big Bang, and it's got a beautiful wood grain on the other side of it. So I was very torn which side of this paper I was going to use, but I did in the end choose this one because of the pattern that was already on the paper. So I planned to place my photo and the focal point of my page, obviously where that large star is located on the page. Now you're not going to see that large star because it's going to be covered up, but you can see the little rays of light that are beaming out from that star. I decided that was a really good starting point for the mixed media for this page. So I decided to work with those and add layers over the top of it. Now, I've got a stencil there. It's a very old stencil, and as you can see, it's very dirty and very clearly well loved. The reason I chose that stencil with the hexagon patterns on it is obviously to tie in with the soccer theme and the hexagon shapes that are on a soccer ball. And I used a distressed oxide. I used ice spruce for this one because iced spruce actually, it's sort of a greeny grey colour, and I thought it would work really well with those sort of bluey grey lines and the grey lines that were already on the paper. So I used my oxide and a makeup sponge, a simple makeup sponge, just to dab some of the colour from the oxide ink pad through the stencil. I chose 3 little areas there over the top of where that ray pattern was already printed on the paper. Then over the top of that, I also added some stamping using like a crisscross pattern stamp and some black ink. And those were my 3 mixed media layers for this page. Now, mixed media by definition is any artwork that is comprised of a mix of more than one material. So basically, any scrapbook page that you add anything other than paper to is a mixed media work by definition. So if you add simple stamping to a page, technically that becomes a mixed media page because you are adding in one extra thing that wasn't just paper. If your layouts are all comprised of paper, no, they're not mixed media, but a second you add in a little bit of stamping, so a lot of you are probably mixed media artists and you didn't even realise it. Anyway, so this one has got very, very simple and clean mixed media on it. There was no mess on my hands, there was no mess on my desk, and you can see how effective using the existing pattern on the paper to build some very simple layers over the top of it made this a very effective background for a mixed media page. So once I had those little clusters of the mediums on the page, which is the distress oxide and the stamping and the pattern that was behind it, it was simply a matter of going through and creating the focal area for this page. Now I am using a mix of A5 papers from this collection, and I'm also using a pocket card which I'm going to use to add my title to. Now the reason I was particularly focusing on the A5 papers and the pocket cards from this collection is because last week for Cocoa Vanilla Studio our assignment was to showcase these 2 products from this collection, and that was the reason that I chose to share the pocket page first because that really focused on these products, and then I'm sharing the layout second. Now, if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that usually I will share the layout first and then I will share the companion page afterwards, but this time we've done it in reverse. So don't get confused on that one. I'll put a link to the pocket page up above here, and I'll also put it at the end again. So if you want to watch the pocket page that then goes with this page and hear a bit about scrapping sports photos, then make sure you pop over and watch that one when this one's done. Okay, back to this one. In that stack there, you can see that I attached those papers to my page using my long arm stapler. I love doing this. It saves on using adhesive. It's quick, it's easy, and you can just staple right through that whole stack and attach it all onto the page where you want it to be without having to lift up layers, add glue underneath, that whole tedious process. If you're new to my channel, I'm quite an impatient scrapper. I don't like waiting for things to dry, so often I will end up smudging things because I hate waiting for them to dry. I love using my long arm stapler for the convenience of it, and yeah, I just like to get in and get things done. So getting back to this page, in that stack I've also added in a grey paper doily. You can see that sort of in the top left hand corner of the photo. I like to add these into my layouts. I think the round shape of the doily helps to break up a lot of the rectangular shapes that I often have on my pages, and it just helps to highlight the photo as well. Usually I pop one under the sort of top corner of my photo and it helps to highlight the photo, or if I have multiple photos on a page, it helps to highlight the feature photo of the bunch. Underneath my photo, I have also added some frayed gauze for texture. If you follow me, you know I love my frayed gauze. It goes on just about every page. It just softens the page. It gives that textural element, but it also helps provide that layer of separation between the background, the foreground layers, and the photo, which is what I want to be at the absolute forefront of this page. The other thing I've added in behind the photo is some scrap cardboard, again to help pop that photo up from those background layers and make sure it's coming up to the viewer's eye. Now, the title that I have added there is sitting on top of one of the pocket cards from this collection, and I am using the chipboard stickers, so I've just used the words "the best." Now, that tied in with the fact that my son had just received these brand new soccer boots, which he claimed were the best present ever. So, and it also will tie into the theme of the pocket page that goes with this layout, which extends on the story about the soccer boots and his current obsession with soccer. And yeah, it's a whole double page thing going on. On top of that pocket card where it had the star printed, so basically that pocket card has the same print on it that features on the 12 by 12 sheet that I have used for the base of this page. But you can obviously see the little star on it. It's a scaled down version of it, but it's basically the same pattern. I have added one of the epoxy wood buttons there that just says "Cool Kid." The reason I chose this one, it should be fairly obvious, but the reason I chose it is because it looks just like the soccer ball that's in the photo. It's round, it's orange, and it's very close. So I wanted to start introducing some circular elements into this page to play off the fact that I was talking about soccer, the round soccer ball. So you're going to see me here start to bring in a lot of circular elements just to bring some roundness to the page. Now, that also helps to contrast again against those square corners that I've got, those 90-degree angle corners. It also helps contrast the geometric shape of those hexagons that I had stenciled on the background. So yeah, there was a lot of different shapes going on this one, which I thought was pretty cool. And it works really well for a boy page too, if you are a boy scrapper. So using some pieces from the die cut ephemera pack, I've got those round frames, and I've actually I had 2 of them. I've cut them in half, and I'm just tucking those round frame pieces in around to form that visual triangle. So you can see I've got one in the top right corner, one in the bottom right corner of the photo, and then I've got one over there near the title card as well. And if you drew a line between those three pieces, you will see that they form that visual triangle around my photo, which is the focal area of my page. Now, using this method of balancing a page is something that I do without even thinking these days. If you are new to scrapbooking and you can't figure out how to get your embellishment clusters balanced or how to make your pages look balanced, a very simple method I would recommend is keeping your embellishment clusters pulled in tight to your photo. So keep them in nice and close. And also to create this visual triangle around your photos. So build that triangular shape around your photos or around your photo that will keep the focal area of your page, so my son, inside that triangle, because when somebody looks at it, their brain naturally sees that triangle and they're drawn to whatever is enclosed inside it. I hope you followed all of that. If you have any questions about that, just put them in the comments and I'll clarify what I was talking about. Okay, so moving on, I am building on those clusters. So I've got the title cluster on the left and then those two other clusters sort of top of the photo, bottom of the photo. I'm adding in pieces from the chipboard sticker sheet. I've added some stars. I've added some of those little round shapes that sort of look a bit planetary. I'm adding those in just to bring some dimension to the page. And now with one of the scraps that I had left over, I've just fussy cut some of the little stars there. And let me tell you, if you are a person that fussy cuts and you have the patience to fussy cut all of those little tiny stars from those papers, I'm taking my hat off to you, because I do not have the patience for that shit and just fussy cutting those tiny, tiny little ones. So yeah, once I'd gotten the ones off it that I wanted, the other scrap just went in the bin. I wasn't cutting any more of those out because I really do need a new pair of glasses, which are on the way, by the way. But aside from that, I don't have the patience. Like I said, I'm a bit impatient when it comes to my pages. So I've just scattered around a few fussy cut stars on the page. I'm going in with a roller stamp from my stash that says the best ever and some black ink. And the only other thing I'm going to do to this page is add some black splatters just to help tie in the dark elements that are on the page. And look, I even covered up my photo for once. Go me. Now, you will note that one of the things that I do when I do these splatters is I don't just splatter around the edges. I try to splatter over some of those layers that I've got on my page, and that's simply to make the layout more cohesive and make the background and foreground sort of tie together. I did actually do one more thing on this page. I pulled out my extra or ultra fine Sharpie and I just doodled a border around the edge of the page just to finish it all off. And I promise you, that was it this time. If you have any questions about this layout or any of the things that I have rambled on about today, don't hesitate to put your questions in the comments section below and I will get back to you as soon as possible. If you are not a subscriber of my channel, I would love it if you would hit the subscribe button and become a subscriber of my channel. And give me a thumbs up if you like this. And thank you so much for watching, and to everyone for all your comments and your support. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will see you next time. Bye.